I just dropped my phone in the most funniest, like the funniest way possible. It would have been so funny if I could have got it. It's fine. Um. So today I really want to talk about. I really want to talk about. I'm nervous. I've been really wanting to. Well, I tried to make a video for a while ago. I just didn't work because I just didn't write any notes. I just had a lot of jumbled thoughts, so it didn't really work. And now I have some notes, but I'm still like, it's really incomplete, but I guess that's okay. But I really wanted to talk about uh I don't know if there's a right wording, but like hyper individuality and like embracing community, because I find that I have been recently noticing how my personal, due to like varying circumstances and like life experiences, I noticed that I am very attached to being quite hyper, like being really caught up in my hyper individualism. And like, yes, it has helped me in many ways, but I'm starting to see how it's made me a bit less like open to like truly fully embracing community in a deeper way. Not like I realized that I'm more comfortable with look at me. I'm just like playing with this. More comfortable with like realized I I'm starting to notice some discomfort whenever I'm like in community, and it starts to get deeper than just surface level like friendships and like social situations. Um these Okay, so I made some notes on my phone. Okay, I've used my phone to record now, so I'll just see if I can find it in my iPad. I made some notes, and even as I'm trying to like write out my thoughts, it's just like it's not jumbled, but it's just I'm still figuring it out, I guess. But I just wanted to have like a discussion about that, about those, they're both extremes, right? In my mind, I feel like you need both. And I think I got prompted to make this video because I started to realize the sensations in my body whenever like people are talking about um the fact that no one thing can survive alone, and how you need people to, you do need people, and it's okay to say you do need people. And I agree with that too, but I still feel these weird sensations that I think I kind of maybe I don't understand all of them fully, but I kind of understand that it comes from my own history of like, or like my own like I kind of think back at the source of me getting so caught up in feeling like I have to depend on myself and really actively being hyper individualistic, as a way of, not that I didn't like people, but as a way to survive. Because in the past I had been in spaces where I was, let's say like as a teenager, I my environment changed quite drastically, where I was just put in a completely different location in a completely different country, and in a country where the culture was quite different, in a country where I guess I was the minority. So before that, I had grown up, been born and grown up in a space with like a deep, like strong community, and just like even if you don't know someone, there's still just a lot of closeness. And like it's not distant at all to where I ended up, like let's say where I am now in like in the UK, where especially as a teenager. So being from having a childhood in a space like that, that is like that tight knit community is just there, and it's just like I don't feel in lack about that, or in anywhere that I have to feel weird that other people are making me feel weird. um just for being myself, and then into a community where like, or a culture where it's relatively distant. People have created their own communities and they stick to them, just like how I was really deep into whatever friendships I created from a younger age, and I grew up with all of them. We all went to the same school through to primary and high school. Well, I left right before high school. Um, so being being used to that closeness and moving to a place that was so like distant, um, I guess it had a big effect on me. It definitely did. I don't know. I'm smiling. It wasn't fun. It wasn't. So I think that's when my sense of, I think at that time, let's say at 13, 14, 15, where I was just like going through things and then like realizing, oh, like, I don't know, it was just hard for me to find that sense of community I was longing for that I had experienced. I feel like I was trying to find ways to replicate that, and it just wasn't working, or it just wasn't sticking. And maybe it was just like, I don't know. I don't look at that as a bad thing or a sad. So it was sad, but as a really sad thing anymore. Maybe it was just like my experiences trying to teach me to use different things and to adapt to newer things. So I think that is the start and like the source of this strong like hyper individual, although I don't think of it like that, but when I talk and like I realize that, and the way I talk and the themes that I get really caught up in, I realize that people probably think of me as like a hyper individualistic person in terms of being social, like being very like individualistic in terms of like doing, not needing to do things by myself, but most of the time like just, especially right now, just doing it by myself, like doing lots of social things by myself. But so it was a really slow progression from being in high school until now. But I think it was building this really strong like sense of, yeah, you, I think it was also avoidant because being in this space where I felt rejected and like wanting to create or be part of communities, I think it was like a, um I guess a coping mechanism that, um in those days it was very extreme, but now I feel like I'm learning to just like still hold on to that and still know it's now moving more towards actually learning about myself, and like, um it's getting a bit deeper than feeling really stuck on, oh, I have to do this by myself, I'm good by myself, because like it's okay. As a younger person, I'm like, I didn't even want to admit to myself that I wanted to be part of like I wanted those like strong relationships, because I felt really vulnerable expressing that for some reason, because I was still caught up in that kind of like sadness or pain that I experienced as a younger person, or like in those times that I would experience in those times. So I'm like, yeah, I don't, yeah, I would just do it myself. I don't need anyone. And eventually, it was like a tough like couple years, but I ended up making some really strong like small close knit friends, especially in high school, that I really really appreciate. So I eventually like, I was fine in the end, but it still created this like intense attachment to feeling like I only have myself to depend on. So okay, so that's a backstory, right? So that's where I'm coming from, and I feel like I still feel quite attached to that. But more recently, I'm realizing that it has been holding me back from like letting myself it's been holding me back from letting myself be open to embracing the community around me, or like being open to, I guess, because I experienced all that newness of like like at 13, being in a completely new space and having to like, I don't know what the word is, assimilate into like a new community, and the trauma of that and the rejection I felt in those days, it makes me like, it's part of why I guess I still hold on really. I hold on to just being like, oh, it's fine. I could just do it myself. I don't have to put myself out there. But I'm starting to realize that's me still putting myself in the same space, or like still not growing, or not moving towards growth and getting over those things, just because I'm scared of the rejection or something. I don't know exactly why, but I don't know exactly how, but I've just been thinking about it a lot lately, and like I feel like I feel like as much as I try, there's still parts of me that are living really deeply in the past, but also like really deeply in like the past, where things like living back where the trauma started, in terms of like at the age of 13. Still, I have new ideas, I'm growing so much, but I still realize that there's these deep rooted things of like like of what I experienced, and still thinking that now and being like, people don't actually want to create community with me. Like let's say the bullying, or like the like feeling left out emotions I felt, I realized that it's still creeping in there somewhere when I'm like going on about my life and just like connecting and being me. So I think that explains why whenever people express that, yeah, you need community, no one can survive by itself, nothing, no living organ can survive by itself. And like, I truly believe that, but I feel this like um discomfort, or like these weird emotions, because I'm like, um I feel too defensive of um I don't know exactly what I mean. See, I try to make notes for this, but it's I shouldn't say it's hard, but I'm having a hard time because I'm still figuring it out. Um but basically, I think both things are important. Like, especially now that I feel like I'm not holding on to dear life to myself, to dear life. It's just more of like, I'm learning more about myself. I'm learning to enjoy my own company, which I have been, but I feel like right now I'm fully and freely learning to enjoy my company just for the sake of it, whereas in the past it was like a survival thing, feeling really caught up in these ideas of deep loneliness and being like, oh, like surviving by really holding on tight to myself, whereas now I've just like kind of relaxed that a little bit. um so I think they're both important, just as much as like you need you need others, and you grow so much from being around others, you grow so much from about yourself with the way you respond to others, and like there's just so much to learn. um and it's important to help each other on that journey, but I also think it's just as important to nurture that connection with yourself, because like you came here alone. Like, you might die with people around you, people who love you, but you're going to die alone every night you go to bed, like alone. Like, even if you're with someone, sleeping next to someone, like you're in your body all the, like you're here all the time, you're with yourself all the time. And like, maybe the way I was introduced to that um practice, that slowly developed over years. It took a while for me to really grasp that, although I was still really caught up. I guess I was still very hyper individualistic, but my relationships with others is what helped teach me what I like needed from myself, I guess, or like it's what helped teach me the most things about myself, I think, where I have been able to like move out of that like desperate cling to myself, to just like a relaxed being here with myself and just chilling out and trusting myself, all those good stuff, other than like in the past where I was just like really like, it was just more of a coping mechanism, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think all the things that I have experienced in life and all the things that I clung to were needed at the moment to help me survive at the moment, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. It was just what was needed at that moment, and like after a while with like more self-reflection, you can look back and move on from things that you don't really need to cling on to anymore. But okay, I was making a point and then I went to something else. But my main point is that I think embracing community is very important, as much as I think like nurturing that connection with yourself is also very important, because as much as you need other people to survive, um you've also got yourself. Like you're just like hanging about. Like I know it. I don't really. Although I kind of know, I don't really know. Like the concept of your relationship with yourself. Like yourself is just yourself. I'm just me. Like who else is here? But there is like, because I guess we're so caught up in thinking in you me, like thinking external all the time, that the internal just feels very like it's just me, like I don't care, it's just me. I don't know how else to explain that, but I think like, yeah, I missed the point again, but let's keep going, um um what was I saying? Yeah, um I'm making this video because I want to like just get my thoughts down, which are still all over the place, but it's okay. It's just me, and because I realized I still have some fears that I've been holding on to from the past, of just always assuming that things will go wrong, especially let's say in friendships or any type of connection, assuming that they don't actually want to be around me. And there's nothing that should make me assume that, other than I can only trace it back to like other experience, my past experiences, maybe like ones from when I was really young, where like let's say I was in a new environment, or the ones after that where it's just like normal friendships and relationships that you go into, and then you learn a lot about yourself, and they either work or they don't work, and it's not good or bad, it just is what it is, and it's just like a chapter, and you sometimes it finishes, and it's okay because you're still here. um I forgot. Why do I forget everything? How am I gonna post this video? I've forgotten. Bear with me. um because I have three things going on in my head, and I have to do one thing at once. The thing is, I have to learn to think about one thing at once, and I'm trying really hard to do it in my everyday life. But I think the habit of not doing that for so long has made it really hard, and it's made my thoughts really jumbled, and but like it makes sense to me, but as I say it out loud or ramble on, I know that people are like lost, so sorry about that. But I have to keep going, or else I would just be like, okay. um yeah, but I was saying how you need both, because even in community and embracing community, platonic relationships, friendships, family, um platonic relationships, romantic relationships, family, your relationship to the things you do, like your hobbies, let's say. But when I feel like, I maybe the word is not hyper individuality, but I feel like self connection is important for those things to thrive as well. I think there can be an over dependence on community and the people around you, where you don't take a it can be easy to like fall too deeply into it, where you don't take accountability for yourself and reflect on yourself, and everything is like projected in the people around you, and how they're meant to meet these expectations and make you feel good and make you feel in community, when like there's a really, I don't know, there's a lot, like there can be a lot to gain when you're still nurturing that connection with yourself, because then you can connect with other people more. And I feel like you can have one without, you can, people do it all the time, but like I feel like to truly connect, like, I don't know, I feel like we can't overly focus on one thing or the other. Even if we were to overly, maybe slightly focus a bit more on one thing or that, I feel like focusing a bit more on your nurturing that relationship with yourself, and then like then the other would be much better than like being overly dependent on external relationships, because it just always like, it just seems, what I've learned is you're just chasing yourself. Like you're chasing, there's all these things that maybe you've gone a long time without like tapping in within yourself, but you're just chasing it so much outside yourself, and then you face so many disappointments. But instead of sitting back and being like, wait, why do I keep, I'm talking to myself, I'm not like calling anyone, but honestly, me, for like some years, I'm slowly learning to like sit when things become repetitive, when I keep experiencing the same thing over and over, to sit back and really take accountability and be like, wait, why is this repeating so much? What is this trying to tell me? What have I been ignoring? And what am I asking for myself that I've been like looking elsewhere for, where like it wouldn't, like it's not nearly as, it won't be nearly as fulfilling as if I find ways to give those things to myself. But okay, I feel like, you know why I did that, the 2 seconds ago, because I realized I'm talking too much, or like I'm not making sense or whatever, or that I'm talking too long, and I'm like, something in my head was like, okay, just end it. But who are you to rush me? Who are you to rush me? I'm talking to myself. Who am I to rush me? But I do want to make this short because as you can tell, it's an incomplete thought, but I've just been thinking about it a lot, wanting to make a video on it for a while. And maybe like I'll make something else about it um, when I go out and experience and find some more answers. But I don't think there's one over the other. I think you need both, that connection to yourself, nurturing it like you would nurture the friendships that you want. And I feel like that has become like a really popular thing, let's say like self-care, self-love, but it's become a really popular thing that has been really heavily monetized, and being like, yeah, buy yourself this because like self-care, because yeah, spend $1,000 on yourself because you deserve it, babes. And it's not just about that, it's not about that, that's just like a external thing. But it's, I find that, I guess in on my own journey, it's just like stop avoiding myself, stop avoiding the quiet. Like a small story, there's this like from my bus stop to my house, there's like, it's a very short walk, but it's very quiet, and there isn't really much light. So when I'm coming in the evening, it's just very quiet, and there's like these big farms, so it's just very like quiet, and you're just really alone with yourself. And I remember when I first moved, I'd always describe it as um it's like when you have a dream where in the dream you're like some place, you're in some place, and you see ahead of you there's like a, let's say like a dark, like a forest, or like somewhere that just looks so unknown and so quiet, and so like you feel like there's no one there. And because you feel like there's no one there, you feel like um there might be something there to scare you or something, so you don't go there. And I kept repeating how walking from the bus stop to home makes me feel that way. It makes me feel like I'm in that dream, and I'm like walking through that, going towards the thing that I would always avoid in my dreams, let's say in the past, avoid in the past. And but I think what, and then because of the quiet and the trees, it just makes you think of all the worst things that could happen. But I feel like a part of all those things your mind is creating is just like that, being quiet with yourself, that emptiness, I guess. And just that quietness, and just how scary it is, because we're in a world where like everything is so stimulating, and we're so attracted to this and that and that. And like, let's say for me, like my phone doing this on here, I for the longest time I used to be like, I am so comfortable with myself, like I love spending time with myself, but I would be like doom scrolling. That is not really spending time with yourself. That is overstimulating your mind. There's no space to be actually in yourself with yourself. um but yeah, so why did I bring up that story? um it's almost 30 minutes. I need to finish this. um oh, I forgot why. I'll watch the video back if you're watching this. Sorry. um but yeah, they're both really important, and for me, I want to try to like get out of these ideas that I realize are still seeping through and just hidden in there. Whenever I try to let myself be open and be and embrace like community with others. And I realize, as I look back at my past, and I realize a lot of, maybe most things don't work out for a reason. Like, let's say friendships don't work out for a reason, all of that. But I think a part of it is me still in that assumption of that past trauma, where I'm like, people don't actually want to be around me anyways. I don't actually consciously think this, but it's just so like subconscious, and it's so deep in the past that it's in your mind, but you don't realize it. You don't realize how it controls you. And like, when you start to like notice, and it's like in split seconds, and it's important to try to catch them and be like, wait, why, what makes you think that in this situation? That might have been true in that past situation, but what makes you think that here? What, like, and try to question it, well, for myself. And this is atrocious. I keep forgetting everything. Okay, let me not keep affirming that I forget everything while I'm trying to get out of forgetting everything. Ow. But my leg. But what I was saying was, okay, the last sentence. What I was saying was, I think, although I feel like extremely caught up in my hyper-individualism, maybe I don't need to throw it away completely to embrace community. Maybe even though I feel in fear of rejection, and truly embracing community and truly forming like unconditional love and strong bonds with other people, in all types of relationships, right? Maybe in form of that, I can still like know that, because you can't, I think one thing that would hold me back is trying to make sure that, I don't know, like trying to control things you can't really control. You can love and appreciate and create friendships and relationships and connections with people, and not, you can't control betrayals. You can't foresee betrayals, or like sad, or like being left out, or like just that person that you feel really strongly about not being your friend anymore, like things like that. You can't, like, I used to try to hope to see through things, but you can't see through everything. So it's important to just be brave. I'm trying to like be brave and go through these things anyway, like have my boundaries, of course. And like, and a part of, I was gonna say, be firm in who I am and what interests me, and not be swayed to be like interested in things I don't really care about just because I want to be around other people. Like, really, I feel like, and that is when like knowing yourself comes in, I guess. That's when like nurturing that connection with yourself comes in, where you're aligned with yourself and what you truly like. And sometimes you just automatically start attracting people that are on your wavelength, but then you also know that when you're around people that don't really match with you, you don't feel desperate to like still try to connect with them, even though they're, just because you want this idea of, you have this idealized version of like having a friendship group or whatever it is. But yeah, as I was saying, to feel connected, this is so all over the place, it's okay. To feel maybe I can get over that fear of rejection and truly let myself embrace community and know that no matter what happens, there's still that nurtured connection to myself there. And it's not like, even if I get really deep into a connection with people and then something happens and it doesn't work out, that it ends, it's okay because I'm still here and like life still goes on. I think that is the main thing that was holding me back, just being scared. I just being really scared of endings, and like I think that's the main thing that has been holding me back. But I think, let's say, my hyper individualism can also help in that aspect, where it can help me be brave anyway and know that I'm good regardless, even when I'm not good, even when I'm feeling sad or whatever, that I will still be there to hold myself, right? But also being open to other people helping you and being there for you and trusting that they want to be there for you and not be caught up in old ideas, thinking the opposite when, or yeah, being caught up in old ideas that just blind your vision and like, not blind your vision, but like blur your vision into seeing things in a way that it's not and perceiving things in a way that it's not. So I think that's the video. I wanted to like, you can tell it's still like a developing thought. I'm still trying to really figure it out, and like, so maybe I'll make some more things about this. But I've been really wanting to like talk about this for a while. I feel like I didn't talk enough about connections, but I don't know, I feel like that's what the world talks about so much. I feel like we know so much about that, but I don't know, I'm making this video to help myself, I don't know, make sense of things and continue to be brave and move towards the things, even though in the past may have been whatever traumatic, but, and even in a recent, maybe not recent past, but in a few years, has still been like, there's still this kind of block. I feel blocked in that way, but I don't have to see it as a lack anyway. I don't want to see it as a lack. I'm learning to give those things that I used to seek really intensely from others. I'm learning to slowly like find creative ways to give them to myself in ways that may not seem that like they count that much, especially to like the world where things are mostly like external validation it's because it's what you see. So it's like, oh yeah, that so yeah, I don't know, this isn't a complete video, but I might add some more thoughts sometime later. But this is really yeah, I just want to be brave. I just want to be braver. Brave, is that a more brave, is that a word? And because I'm definitely very comfortable with like being in my own space, and but you need both. Like both are really important, and it's important not to get stuck in one. Yeah, it's important to get, I'm still going to continue to learn about myself and all, and prioritize myself and connect with myself, all of that, but like I can't be like, oh, because of this and this and this that happened, I'm not going to try to embrace others anymore, because I realized that I learned the most in relation with others, and I'm learning a lot now. Yes, as I'm still in a relation with others, but I just mean like really like getting, not being scared of those deep connections anymore. And it will take time, and I'm going to be patient with myself, but I think it's important anyway. I think they are both important, inner and outer connect, like internal and external connections. That's the video done. How do I end it? Okay, I really wanted to talk about this. This is really like, I literally was just scribbling notes. I'm like, oh, I have to do this, or I'll overthink. I'm trying to shorten. I saw this video about, I haven't been doom scrolling on TikTok as much, but I saw this video a while ago, like a few days ago, about a thing to really help you like get things done, let's say, or like do the things you want to do, is shortening the thinking and the doing. So I tried to do that today. I've been thinking about this for a couple days, and weeks before that I was thinking about it, and I made a video, but I couldn't get any words out. Well, I did, but then it was just really jumbled up. This is jumbled up too, but I feel like I got some words out. But yeah, shortening the space between the thinking and the doing as much as you can, just so you don't like just throw things away. Because I think about it, and I'm like, this isn't that of that much value, but it's just because I've been sitting on it and thinking of it, and now I don't want to do it. So, ow, my leg. So here I am. So that's the video. How do I finish? That's the video. Thank you so much for watching. I don't talk like that. Thank you for watching. And if you have any thoughts to share, to help, to join the conversation, you're welcome to join the conversation. We want to join the conversation. But yeah, I'm really happy I did this. I don't know what I have said, so we'll see what comes out. Right? Okay, bye.